The war that began with betrayal turned into a fever dream of pain and pride. Ducati's rejection, Aprilia's gamble, and Jorge Martin's body breaking under the weight of vengeance. This is MotoGP's most cursed alliance. Every fracture became a prophecy, every contract a battlefield. This is not redemption. It's survival written in blood. The first rule of revenge: never let it outlive your body. Jorge Martin forgot that somewhere between the Ducati snub and the noale handshake, what started as vengeance turned into a curse, bone by bone, crash by crash. The 2024 world champion arrived at Aprilia as the man who should have been Ducati's heir, carrying the #1 plate like a threat. But fate doesn't care for declarations. It prefers to mock them. Sepang broke him first, multiple fractures from a testing crash. Motocross mocked him next, snapping his scaphoid before the season even started. Then Qatar, where his lungs gave out from 11 broken ribs after colliding with Fabio Di Gianantonio. He coughed blood while the paddock whispered, "Karma wears a factory logo." By spring, he triggered a contract exit clause nobody believed existed. Aprilia said it was invalid. Dorna locked the gates. Honda stood at the fence, ready with a bag of promises. Martin was trapped inside a dream he didn't want to finish. The man who arrived out of spite now had to ride out of hell. But every lap since then feels like punishment, not destiny. Question: was it Ducati's betrayal that cursed Martin, or was it his own pride that turned Aprilia into a mirror of his rage? Comment your truth. The grid remembers what Ducati did. Gigi Dall'Igna chose Marc Marquez, the chaos god in red. Martin responded with spite disguised as ambition. Aprilia, the dark horse from Noale. For a moment, it felt poetic, a betrayed champion resurrecting the forgotten factory. Lorenzo himself called it the most emotional signing since Rossi to Yamaha. But emotion doesn't build championships, it dismantles them. From the start of 2025, Aprilia's garage felt like a confession booth. Engineers whispered about the bike's soul being too reactive, journalists smelled friction. And Martin, bandaged, scarred, medicated, kept saying, "I'll prove I'm faster than destiny." Meanwhile, Marco Bezzecchi was quietly sharpening the knife. The Italian, calmer and cleaner, began finding grip where Martin found ghosts. He won Silverstone. He led sprints. He made Ducati nervous. He made Aprilia believe. By the time Martin returned at Brno, Bezzecchi had become Aprilia's spine. Martin looked like a ghost walking into his own team. P7 felt like survival. Then came Balaton Park. P4, finally breathing again, proving the RSGP 25 was alive. Lorenzo, ever the surgeon of ego, told Dura La Vida, they've started again with a pretty good feeling. No regrets, no bad blood. But good vibes don't fix collarbones. They just distract the media until the next crash. Was this Aprilia's rebirth or Bezzecchi's silent takeover? Did Martin ever heal, or did Aprilia just move on while pretending to care? Comment what you see behind the smiles. The battlefield. Motegi was supposed to be the weekend of redemption. The one where Martin would silence the whispers. Instead, it became the final betrayal, his own hands turning on his teammate. Lap 1, sprint race. Cold tires, hot blood. He lunged into turn 1 like he was chasing ghosts again, lost the front, and wiped out Bezzecchi. The moment froze the paddock. The champion turned kamikaze, taking down the man who'd kept his factory afloat. The cameras caught Martin kneeling beside Bezzecchi's RSGP 25, eyes wet, helmet shaking. He wasn't angry, he was broken. Bezzecchi limped away, bruised but intact. Martin didn't. The right collarbone snapped like paper. Another surgery, another flight home, another season bled out on the hospital bed. Dorna's doctors counted his injuries like chapters in a Greek tragedy. Ribs, lungs, wrist, collarbone, 4 months of racing, 3 hospital beds, 1 cursed machine. Aprilia called it a setback. Fans called it karma. Bezzecchi called it bad luck. Lorenzo called it human. But beneath every polite quote lies the same truth. Martin's war with Ducati didn't destroy Bologna, it destroyed himself. Every comeback attempt, every fracture, every clause, every press release, it all loops back to one emotion: spite. The deadliest fuel in racing. Questions: did Aprilia build a weapon powerful enough to kill its own rider? Or did Martin's obsession turn every corner into an act of self-destruction? Drop your verdict below. After Motegi, the factory garage looked haunted. One side of the pit still smelled of Bezzecchi's podium champagne, the other reeked of antiseptic. 2 RSGP 25s, 2 destinies, one rising, one buried. Bezzecchi's calm brilliance had become Aprilia's public face. Silverstone's win, Assen's podium, and that Balaton near miracle made Noale relevant again. But relevance came at a price. Martin's silence. His injury reports became Aprilia's press releases. He watched from his home while Bezzecchi collected points. Lorenzo said, "There are no regrets." Easy words for a man who walked away with 5 titles and both wrists intact. But Martin wasn't walking anywhere. Inside Aprilia, they pretended harmony had returned. Good vibes, Lorenzo said. Spiritual level, he called it. Maybe because it's easier to talk about spirits when one rider's season is a ghost story. Dorna had already made its choice. No more broken contracts, no more mid-season escapes. Martin's exit clause became myth, buried under politics. Aprilia tightened control. The same freedom he sought now chained him to the bike that hurt him. And yet Aprilia smiled for cameras, branding it growth. Is harmony just control disguised as forgiveness? Did Aprilia really heal, or did it just bury the evidence under good PR? Tell me what you believe. In a sport where flesh meets titanium at 350 kilometers per hour, contracts are just ink trying to tame chaos. Aprilia thought signing Martin would crown them kings. Instead, it turned their season into a sermon on fragility. The irony bites. Ducati dropped Martin for Marquez, betting on legacy over loyalty. Aprilia picked him up for revenge. Now Ducati leads titles, Marquez bleeds trophies, and Aprilia tends to a wounded champion, praying for 2026. But maybe this is how greatness mutates. Martin's story, half glory, half ghost, forces the paddock to question what being number one even means. A plate doesn't make you a god. It just paints a target on your ribs. Bezzecchi might inherit Aprilia's future. Martin might chase a final resurrection. Lorenzo, ever the philosopher in designer sunglasses, calls it spiritual recovery. Maybe he's right. Or maybe he's watching another soul get consumed by the same machinery that once made him immortal. As the 2025 season closes, one truth remains. The line between redemption and repetition is drawn in titanium screws. Was 2025 the year Aprilia grew, or the year it broke something it couldn't fix? Has Martin learned humility, or has the sport simply run out of pieces to break? Comment your verdict. Subscribe for more savage breakdowns. The next chapter isn't healing, it's reckoning.